All right, guys, my name is Dr. Charnel Wolverton Sehan. Craig and I are super excited to have this panel today. As a matter of fact, we were actually trying to do this like 2 months ago, Craig, and we had speakers lined up and everyone kept bailing on this topic. And I don't know why, but it seemed to be a topic that no one wanted to talk about. And then I asked Tyler and Aaron to join us, and they were like all about it. And so we got the date set, and then it got pushed back a couple times. And so anyway, we're finally here. But it turns out that the reason why this was on the radar a couple months ago is because there's some interesting stuff going on with CERN right now. Actually started July the 5th, I believe. So I have so much to share. I've got a ton of slides, but I'm just super excited. All of you guys are here and just want to welcome you. And Craig, if you got anything to say before we maybe go around and everyone kind of just say who they are in case somebody's not familiar with each other. But
yeah, hi. Like I say, I love all you guys. Great. Emma, it's great to meet you for the first time. And like you said, Shana, we originally set this up months ago, but it just wasn't working out for some reason. And it appears since then, a lot has happened with regards to this topic. So it seems to have been put back on purpose, and with a panel that I think has a lot to say about this. So I'm really fascinated to hear what other guys have got to say, you guys and girls, should I say. But yeah, I mean, let's jump straight into it, or maybe introduce yourselves. Should we start with Emma? I've not met you yet, so yeah, please introduce yourself.
My name is Emma Katherine, and I apologize for people listening if there's a little bit of an echo. I'm in a room that echoes a little bit, so I'm going to do my best to mute that out. But I am a podcast host of a podcast called The Imagination, where I interview survivors and whistleblowers of all different types of child abuse, from MK Ultra, satanic ritual abuse, and all the way down to domestic abuse and everything in between. So it's been quite an honor. I met Dr. Charnel through that project, and really honored to be here with you guys today, and super excited for this. So I appreciate you guys having me on.
You're muted.
You're muted.
You're muted.
Charnel, you're muted.
Oh, just wanted to say thank you for being with us. I want to say too, Carrie Cassidy may be joining us as well, but she's running a little bit late. So keep going, guys.
Well, most people know who Aaron and I are. We host Journey to Truth podcast, and we've done a few shows with you now, Charnel and Craig, and we always have amazing conversations. So I'll just keep the introduction short, and thanks for having us back on. I'm looking forward to getting into this topic. It's a very interesting topic, and when I really did some research, there's not a lot of good information unless you find whistleblowers and certain people that are coming forward talking about it. But most of the information, even whenever you get deep online, is pretty much just generic. It's more theories than anything, because nobody actually knows what's going on here, and that's what we're going to try and figure out. So thanks for having us.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Aaron.
Yeah, so Journey to Truth, as Tyler just said. Yeah, this topic, I found out about the Mandela Effect, like, I want to say like 2013 or 14, somewhere around there, like a while ago, because a friend of mine who's not awake at all to anything that, we are, posted about it on Facebook, the Berenstain Bears, thing. And it blew my mind because I had those books as a kid, and I read them a ton, and I knew for a fact it was spelled Stein, not Stain. So I looked into it, and sure enough, nope, it's always been that way, supposedly. I'm like, no, that's not true, So I knew there was something going on. And then I found started finding all the other ones, and there was, at that time, there was already a handful I knew for a fact were different from, the timeline I came from. And a lot of us did. So, but it seemed like there were some people that remembered it always being the way it currently is. So it's like, I knew right then there was some kind of timeline thing going on where some of us are from one timeline and some are from this other one, and they merged somehow. And then sure enough, like that's what, seemed to be the case. And I don't even remember if I knew about CERN at that time or not, but whenever I found out about CERN, I was like, maybe that's why. Or then later on, I realized, with the ascension happening, timelines are merging and things are changing in that way. So I knew it was probably something to do with that. But there's definitely something going on, because there's a lot of changes happening.
It's totally crazy. But so yeah, the reason why this is even called the Mandela Effect, I looked it up because recently, I say recently, this has been going on for a while, but basically some people remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison.
And his funeral. Yeah.
Why some people actually remember that he was liberated and then passed. So I mean, that's where it all comes from, if you guys aren't familiar. But yeah, I have a few slides. Let me grab some and you'll see what I'm talking about as far as
yeah, they remember. I mean, basically, people remember him dying before he was being dead before he actually died, is what the whole thing is. And then the whole Mandela effect is basically just what the mainstreams, like scientists, try and say is like us remembering or just having memories that don't match the historical fact, right? So it's really interesting to.
One of the main evidences for me, Sean, I don't know if you remember this. Bearstone Bears. One of the main ones for me, Sean and I come from a Christian background, and all through. I mean, I went to a Christian school for 13 years. I went to Sunday school, church every week, did the whole shebang, and there was always this imagery of the lion lying down with the lamb. And a lot of people know what I'm going to say now. It was, there was murals on the Sunday school wall of a lion and a lamb lying down next to each other. It's scripture from Isaiah. And there was a more secular evidence of this. I don't, you know the band Mr. Mister?
Yeah.
Did Broken Wings. They did a song called Healing Waters, and there's a line in that says, "When will the lion lie down with the lamb?" So it's a thing. However, you go and look in your Bible, and it now says, the wolf will lie down with the lamb. It says nothing about a lion lying down with the lamb. So what's happened? That is a very, very clear change. Now, I know this drives Christians insane because they think, no, they can't change the Bible. That's impossible. God wouldn't let that happen. But it's like, you might want to check the past few centuries. However, to me, that's just like, the lion lying down with the lamb is an imagery of the new earth. It's about the peacetime. And that's where it comes from. But now it says the wolf, and there is no remembrance in my mind whatsoever of it ever saying wolf.
No, it was lion.
It was lion.
And Tyler, our wolf thing. Which I think all of us share. So I'm like jumping around because I forgot about this one till just now. But it's like the wolf thing keeps coming up.
Yeah, that's been coming up for me a lot lately, actually. Still trying to do some digging on that. It's interesting though, the whole going back to 2012 and so there's people that claim the whole CERN theory comes from, they say in 2012 CERN split the time continuum, whatever that means, and hence all these Mandela effects starting back in 2012. And it's interesting, Aaron, that you just right after that discovered the Mandela effect. I wonder if we have any record of people having these memories prior to 2012. I don't know. I haven't gone and done that research, but it would be interesting to see when people started first noticing this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, do you guys remember Looney Tunes with 2 O's or tunes as in music?
Tunes as in music. Or no, tunes as a cartoon.
No, I remember.
The cartoons.
Cartoon.
Yeah.
And then this is the one Aaron was talking about, Bernstein bears or Bernstein bears?
The fact that there's both there.
I remember Steen.
Yeah,
and there's other people that say they have memories of wondering how it's pronounced, Steen or Stein. So if it was always Stain, that wouldn't be a memory. You wouldn't be like, is it Steen or Stein if it's S-T-A-I, you know?
Mhm.
So there's certain little clues like that really prove that it did change, you know?
And here's this one. You guys, anyone play Monopoly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Oh, yeah.
remember the guy had a glass.
Monocle.
Yeah.
Right. He
Right?
did. Yeah.
Did he?
Right.
They're saying no. I'm like, how? And then here's another one, Coca-Cola. It seems like I remember the middle one. Maybe I'm making that up.
Yeah, I don't know which one I remember.
Either the middle or the bottom.
Yeah.
I remember the dash being that small and that high. Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember Flintstones with an INT or no T?
No T.
No T.
No T, right?
Yeah.
But now they're saying Flint Stones. Yeah.
This one I know for a fact changed because I remember
Right.
CHIC as a kid.
Chick versus chick.
Well,
I mean,
you know what's interesting though? People, ever since this recent July 5th CERN event, people are claiming now that some of these Mandela effects have switched back. And
Oh, really?
yeah, so I don't know. This is just what people are noticing. Obviously, we can't prove it, but there's been certain examples. For one, like the Chick-fil-A, I watched a video of this girl who was flipping out because she always remembered it with the C, and then it was the CK, and then since July 5th, now it's back to just a C. So it's almost like, well, in wherever she was in her video, that's what she saw.
That Chick-fil-A, I heard people say they would call it chic filet because that's how you spell chic, SHIC. Again, you wouldn't say that if it was always with a K. So there's these little clues like that.
Mhm.
what about Fruit Loops? Do you guys?
I actually do remember the second one.
I do too.
Yeah, me too.
I do too.
So that's one I actually do remember.
Okay. So going back, they're saying that CERN did something on the 5th to like speed up whatever. But in addition to that, they've actually released a CERN satellite. I don't know if you guys read up about that, but there's some kind of satellite that's named Celesta that came out actually the 13th, just yesterday. They sent it out and deployed it to transmit different signals out there that I guess weren't there before. I mean, I guess this could change up timelines and maybe, I don't know about y'all, but I felt so weird the last few days. And I even put something out there because I felt like spacey and lethargic and like I felt like time was moving like super fast, but also very slow, like kind of foggy jelly, kind of weird, kind of like, am I here? Is this fake? Is this real? Am I just observing? And every night I would go to bed and I was like, okay, this is going to go away. Tomorrow I'm going to wake up. I'm going to be back. I'm going to remember. I'm going to be present and it's not going to feel so weird. And then this went on for several days. And it turns out a lot of people were saying they were feeling the same thing, that they were like having ascension kind of like side things or whatever. But
I thought you found the fix for that, right? Dairy Queen hot dog and
Dairy Queen hot dog and an ice sundae, a fudgicle ice sundae or whatever. I had a hot dog. It was super good. It's not keto. And I had some ice cream, and that fixes it all apparently. Because as soon as I did that, I was fine. But yes.
I'd like to comment on this real quick. This photo that you have up, Alice is an MK Ultra program also, and it's a program CERN uses.
Good point.
Right.
And then what about the whole mirror on the wall?
Or magic mirror? That was the other one, wasn't it? Is it magic mirror or mirror?
It was mirror. Yeah.
Mirror. That's what it is.
Then you go back and watch it, or unless it's changed again, and it says magic mirror on the wall. It's like, no, it doesn't.
There was even a movie with Julia Roberts called Mirror, based off of that quote.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, and what they try and say is that the movies get it wrong, or like the Star Wars C-3PO costume where he's all gold, but the original one had a silver leg. They try and say that like the costume company got it wrong, or the movie makers got it wrong.
Yeah.
Like the Mr. Rogers, It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
This neighborhood.
Yeah, they're saying that the new movie got it wrong. It's really this neighborhood. They're just like, it's the most ridiculous. They're just trying to make everyone think that they're crazy by having these false memories of things that never happened.
Yeah, they're gaslighting. They're gaslighting everyone.
Right.
Trying to say.
And one of the theories is that people, their memories are skewed because they're not remembering it correctly. And if enough people think that happened, that they're creating a timeline based on a memory of something that never happened. Like they try and make the mainstream explanation as confusing as possible. Because the opposite end of that is admitting that they have time travel programs that are causing these Mandela effects, which Andrew Basiago talks a lot about. And I think that satellite that was sent up from CERN, I don't know anything about it, but that sounds like that tower in Colorado that Andrew Basiago talked about that sent out frequencies so they can hone in on other dimensions and communicate with them. And I wonder if this CERN event opened up portals to new dimensions that we had not had contact with before, and the satellite might be exactly serving the same purpose as that tower in Colorado, sending out signals so they can hone in on these new realities that they're now opening up, these new timelines, and they can communicate with them. I don't know. That's just my theory just right now on the spot. But
that's really interesting. What about Oscar Mayer and Mayer? Which one do you guys remember?
Meyer.
Right?
The first one, yeah.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I think the whole CERN thing, there's got to be a piece to that. There's something definitely to it. Tony the Tiger with the blue nose or a black nose?
Blue.
Right?
Honestly, I don't remember, honestly.
Well,
yeah, definitely blue.
How about Ford?
Never paid attention. I don't know.
I think the first one, the top one.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah. I don't remember the curly Q.
Right. The top one definitely looks more familiar.
And look at this target. I mean, it's the same, but it's not.
Well, yeah, I kind of remember the one on the left.
That's what I thought.
I remember the left.
Yeah.
What about sex in the city or and the city?
In. Yeah.
100% in. How about if you build it, he will come, or if you build it, they will come?
They.
Right? Me too. I guess we're all on the same timeline so far. What about fruit? I remember the basket with the fruit of the loom.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Cornucopia, yeah.
Me too.
Right.
Yeah.
Me too.
All right.
And I know that because that's the only underwear my mom would ever buy me growing up.
Well, there you go.
This one I pulled up, but I wasn't sure. Are they trying to say maybe other pictures don't include these two people, I guess?
Yes. So some people remember 4 people in the car. Some people remember 6 people in the car. And some people claim to have actual footage of it one way, but when they went back to it, it was changed. So the theory is that even if you have physical evidence of it, it morphs with the timeline, which is
everything
really,
changes. Because everything changes when the timeline changes.
Right.
So it doesn't, all that, everything's going to change.
Right.
Exactly.
Slight smile.
Right. The slight smile. I remember the smile, I think.
It seems like she was up to something. I think I remember like
there's more to the Mona Lisa than people understand, I think. Yeah.
Cheez-Its or it?
Z.
I remember the first one with the Z.
The Cheez-Its. Yeah, I mean, that's why we call them Cheez-Its.
Exactly.
I mean, duh.
Well,
what about Kit Kat with the
I remember the dash for sure on this one.
Right?
Yeah.
Specifically, yeah.
All right, Febreze with 2 E's or 1?
1.
Just 1.
I remember 1. I don't remember it with 2 E's.
I remember it 2.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought this was funny. It says one day we're going to Google the Mandela Effect and it's going to say no results.
Right. So did you see, there's a video of a woman catching the Mandela Effect in real time. So she's photographing it the Chase Bank sign. So all of them used to be blue, and then all of a sudden, the word Chase went from blue to white, and then it went from white to black. And
Really?
but it was always she was always certain that it was blue originally. So and then she started noticing them being white, and the one by her house she took a picture of because it used to be blue. Then she took a picture of it while it was white. Then she took a picture of it one day where it would look like it was literally changing from white to black. It was like a gray, but it was all like kind of tie-dye looking. And then when she went back and took another picture, it was solid black. And
Whoa.
there was a reflection in the glass of the picture that she took before of a billboard that she didn't even realize. But in the second picture she took from the same angle, even the billboard in the reflection was gone. So, and
Wow.
she was claiming that it just happened, like she thought it was like overnight, but it's like it appears that these are just slowly morphing in front of our eyes and we don't even notice it.
Wow.
Wow.
Rarely notice. Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy. Wow.
What about J.C. Penney with an E or not?
No E.
No E.
That's what I was saying. No E. I don't know. And then Rubik's Cube versus Rubik's.
I would guess with the X, but I don't really know.
I think the X. Yeah, but I'm not 100%.
I definitely remember R.E. Deer.
R.E.
Yeah.
Yes. And then we got Skechers and Skechers.
With a T.
I'm going to say with a T, yeah.
I think with the T, yeah.
T. I remember a T. I'd be curious what everybody else in the comments as you guys are live watching this. And then this one, 100% on the right. Like, I didn't remember that line.
No, me neither.
Yeah, I don't think I did either.
All right, let's see what else we got here. Okay, this one blew my mind.
Right, Ed McMahon and the Publishers Clearinghouse. Is that what this is?
Yes.
Right.
And it even says, like, I Googled the Mandela Effect and Ed McMahon, and it actually says something about why do people remember this? Because he's never had anything to do with this publishing company. Like, it literally says it's you can go to Snopes and it says that it's not true and that people just have a false memory. I'm
right.
like, really?
It's Snopes.
False memory is the mainstream explanation for
when there's
Mandela.
Hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of people with a false memory. That's not a false memory, is it? Surely.
Right.
Yeah.
It's an oxymoron. How is it false if it's a memory?
Well, exactly. Yeah.
Well, they're claiming people are just remembering things wrong, and which is to a degree that happens where you have a it can happen where you think you remember something a certain way and then it's like, oh, it's different. But when, like you said, when millions, hundreds of millions, however many people remember specifically, like 100% sure of something being one way, then it's like, okay, there's something going on here. And there's always little proofs for it, like I was talking about before, that make it impossible that it, for them to just be a false memory.
Right. But don't they have, remember when we had Justin Deschamps and Ryan DeLarme on the show, and they talked about the False Memory Foundation, where they were where they were trying to like convince people that they were like remembering something that never happened, and their connection was to the Ghislaine Maxwell case, as far as they're trying to like say that even though people remember this, it's possible that they're not really remembering it and they're false, and they have this whole foundation in place to like back their theory
to make it look legit.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And the creators of that foundation created it after their children came forth and accused them of abusing them as children.
Yep.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow.
So I didn't know that.
Right.
Wow.
So they're trying to. It's like a fall guy. False memory.
Trying to cover their ass.
That's crazy. They always try to discredit, just by, everyone's crazy. That's the thing. It's like, that's the secret, conspiracy theory situation too. It's like, let's just label them that, and then it'll be the end of story. But it's not end of story when all of these people, even us, we're all like apparently on the same timeline, remembering different things differently. I'm curious if it's an age thing or if it's a frequency thing. You know, like, are some people not able to see a certain timeline based on a vibration? Like they can't even entertain it or engage with it if they're not at a certain level, or if they're too low, or maybe it's but yeah, Googling and Ed McMahon and them basically saying he has had never anything to do with it. We don't know why everyone remembers it this way. It's like, what? How do you yeah, they didn't wipe us very good, did they, on these things? Like, was there supposed to be a wipe that we missed out on?
No, it's just the timelines merging.
Well, one of the theories is that they're created by people working on quantum computers. We have the 2012 CERN thing, but then Andrew Basiago talks about the Mandela effects being created from the Project Pegasus time travel program. And if you watch any of his interviews, they're mind blowing, and he gives details of they were going back in time, but they thought they were staying on this timeline, but what happened was they were going to different timelines. And if you alter anything, it changes that in the current timeline. So whenever you would come, you're altering the past, you're changing the present. And that's where these Mandela effects were coming from, by them sending children through these portals and time machines and teleporters to go back and do the dirty work of the adults. But in doing so, they were creating the Mandela effect as we know it. So it's really, there's so many possible theories. And I did find a book while I was researching this. I haven't read it yet, but it was a book that sounds very interesting. It's called Mandela Effect, CERN, Reality Changes, Time Travel, Parallel Worlds, and Black Magic. And they talk about specifically about secret governmental programs being the cause of the Mandela Effect. So it would be an interesting book to read. Yeah,
I wouldn't doubt that at all. That makes a lot of sense. And I know people that have their own people that have their own personal Mandela effects that aren't one of these collective ones. Literally at Shasta, I was talking to Barry Everson. He had a couple that were his own personal that he told. I can't remember specifically what he said anymore, but he had a couple personal ones, and then Michelle Anderson had a personal one that happened to her that, when it's personal, for a fact,
I've had
not remembering it wrong, something changed,
I've had a personal one before, and it blew my mind. Yeah, I was in construction, and I would walk to this convenience shop every day on our break, and I would get a little snack. And one day I walked in there. I was working at this place for a year, right? So one day I walked in there, and there was all these flags hanging from the ceiling, strung across. And I'm like, where did those come from? I thought they just put it up. And when I looked closer, there was cobwebs and stuff on. I'm like, there's no way, I've never seen these flags before. I was tripping out, and I was like, what is going on? So when I was checking out, I asked the guy about the flags. I was like, have these flags always been there? And he goes, I was thinking the same exact thing this morning. He's like, I was looking at those flags, wondering when they put them up, where they came from. And so I'm like, so it's not just me? He's like, no, man, I was just thinking the same thing this morning. But they were there for a while, because there was literally cobwebs and stuff on them. That really blew my mind. But
didn't you have another one that was a sign changed where it said so many miles?
Yeah, one of the signs. Well, I thought it was, but I think there's actually two signs. I thought the sign changed from 5 miles to 6 miles away, but I think there might be two signs. I don't know, but it is possible. But anyway, go ahead, Charnel. Sorry to take over.
I think Emma was about to say something. Go for it.
I just think, if you study space and time, they say that it's elastic. So there's things that they know that are studying this on a high level that we don't know. And if time and space are elastic, then the illusion that they must be accepted as they appear to be, it's like a self-defeating structure. And I know Charnel just brought up one. There's another one that I was reading, Star Wars. where before Luke, I am your father is what people thought it said. And allegedly it is no, I am your father.
Right. And I found a video and I have it on my Telegram that said it's video of him saying, Luke, I am your father. It's an old footage somebody recorded from the screen. I sent it to my friend Loyal to the Foil, if you guys know who she is. But I was like, look at this. Like, here's the video. Because I've seen both. I've seen the one where he goes, no, I am your father. And then I've seen the one where he says, Luke, I am your father. So they're both. Yeah, there you go. You have it right there on the screen.
It's so tiny. I wish I could make it bigger. I don't know. But yeah. And then you guys remember the tail?
I remember the tail.
Yeah, I think a tail for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tail. And then what about this one? This is a biggie too.
This is my favorite one.
Apparently he's never been in this movie. What?
So I think he was in this movie years ago.
I remember that.
Well, go ahead. I've been talking a lot. Does somebody else want to chime in on this?
No, I was just gonna say I remember Sinbad. I remember that Shazam and Sinbad. Now it's Kazam with Shaq, right?
Right. So there's a lot of people that claim to even have the old VHS tape of him in this movie, but then there's Kazam with Shaq now. But I watched YouTube videos that you can no longer find anymore of this one video in particular. This person's like, look, this movie is real. They took the movie out of the case, put it in their VCR, played it, and it was Sinbad as Shazam, and they were playing a part of the movie. So there's stuff like that. And then you had Sinbad come out and himself and say that, yes, even though he had denied it, then he came out and apparently did this whole satire thing where he was like, yeah, I did it. It's true. I actually did it, but I was too embarrassed, blah, blah, blah. And then people think that that was him actually telling the truth under the guise of being satire. Either way, it's a very interesting one to me.
Yes. And we got this one.
Yeah.
Life is like a box of chocolates, or life was like a box of chocolates.
I remember is.
It doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't even make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's quite a few of these. I mean, there's way more. These are just a few examples, but yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting how people can be like absolutely sure on something so opposite of what my belief is or my memory is. That's the part that's confusing, and it kind of almost feels like being in a different world in this last 3 years of just like belief systems, even of like this thing or not the thing or different laws or whatever. It's like, how can some people so emphatically believe one thing or remember one thing versus the other? And it seems so obvious, right? In our ways of seeing stuff, but then it's obvious to them too. So it's just interesting how there can be such a dichotomy of like polar opposites, literally.
Definitely. Sorry, I was just going to say, I definitely think that what we've been through the past sort of few years, and I don't think it's over yet, has been some kind of war between factions who are trying to get us on one trajectory and one's trying to get us on another trajectory. And ultimately we decide, which is why they ramp the fear up, because fear, we will manifest what they want. And, it's for all of us, it's been rough, certainly those of us that were aware, it's been a rough few years. But I guess that's why we came here, just to tip the scales into a positive timeline. And I think the more we remember sort of to maintain our personal energy and our joy, our happiness, and to manifest what we choose, we're adding to the benefit of the collective. I was also going to bring up, and I'd love to get everyone's perspective on what the heck has been going on since they switched it on. I mean, here in the UK, we've had a governmental collapse. Georgia Guidestones have been blown up. Sri Lanka's had a revolution. There's been global things going on since CERN was switched on. and I can't say it's negative. I can't say these things are necessarily bad. And I'm like,
right.
Get your perspective.
Well, Rome is also burning. I mean, that one kind of got swept under the rug, but that's massive.
Yeah.
But that was some of the craziest footage I've ever seen, and those fires were coming from underground. They're hot spots. They were calling them hot spots, and there was 4 different locations surrounding the Vatican. I mean, we can kind of just.
It's like, come on.
We know.
Right. It's like they're smoking out whoever was residing there.
Yeah. Whatever was residing there.
Right.
Yeah.
My thing is, somebody posted something in the last few days. I choose to remember what, and someone was saying like, oh, well, so-and-so channeler she's a MK Ultra psyop or whatever. And I just almost started laughing because it's like, who hasn't been MK Ultra at this point? Like, if you have a pulse and you live on this planet, how would you even get away from all the access that they try to get through the phone, the music, everything, commercials? Like, can you even name anyone who could escape the MK Ultra? What, 5G, food?
Maybe the Amish.
Right.
And the tribes that are like disconnected from everything else.
Yeah.
About it.
I think. Oh, go ahead, Shana.
It's just it's an experiment, and I was talking to somebody yesterday, and I was just like, I agree with what Craig said. I don't think it's finished. I think that was a test run to see how dumb everybody really is, and who is going to easily abide without any critical thinking whatsoever, versus people who are going to go, wait, what? And like think it through with logic and use their brain and tap into, I don't know, some minerals or some good food and get off the sugar, so maybe you can think about things differently and not be so absorbed by whatever someone spoon feeds you and tells you that this is the way it is, when it really isn't. But yeah, they are trying to use our own co-creative abilities, because if they can project whatever images and imagery and or sound or vibration out there, and we participate in it, then we're going to be the ones creating it, and they have to do nothing except for put up a projection, But it's aggravating that people don't take time to just question or ask or look into things on their own, but they just go, oh, so-and-so told me, or it's on the internet, or I heard it on the news, so therefore blah blah blah. It's like
yeah, you have to keep in mind, like CERN, the July 5th. So if this was some sort of attempt by the cabal to open up a portal and call in reinforcements or allow certain elites to escape or whatever all these theories are, let's just say that was really the case. This would be what we would call a weak attempt, because the reason they put that date out into the collective is because they need everybody to help them co-create that event, because they don't have the strength to do it themselves. Yeah. So by putting a date out there and just pushing it worldwide on a global scale and getting everyone, even the biggest truthers, everybody, to put all their energy into it, they are now helping co-create exactly what they're trying to push. And there's really no way.
Putting fear into it is what they want, and that's exactly
right. Sorry. Right. And there's really no way, even if you're not putting fear into it, if you're just talking about it in general, you're still giving it energy. And they know that. They understand that, and that's how they pull off, they never used to have to do that, but now I feel like they don't have the strength that they once had, so they need us. They need us more than we need them. Although whatever happened with that CERN event, I do believe there was some sort of countermeasure in place that countered that, and obviously I think we're seeing evidence of that around the world right now.
Yeah. Everyone I know that's tapped into that, like Terabyte Janine and a ton of others, it always comes up. They're not going to allow, they want to do that with CERN, but they're not going to be allowed to do it. The benevolents are stopping it, and they have us protected, because that would make everything all for naught, if they're able to just shift the timeline with CERN or open a portal and all these demons come through or whatever they're trying to do, that would kind of, we didn't come here on this planet. We didn't come here for that experience. We came here to help with the shift, and that's not going to be allowed. So, but like you said, they're not gonna stop trying. You know, they're gonna continually try as hard as they can to do everything they can because they're desperate. They're cornered animals right now, so they're lashing out. They're desperate. It's kind of throwing out everything at the same time right now. That's why everything's so chaotic. But that's a really good sign. That means we're that close to the big shift to the light. You know. So.
I feel like maybe we did go back to the future a little bit. Like maybe some of the timelines did line up, and that it backfired because literally as soon as I had that ice cream. No, I'm just kidding. Something happened where all of a sudden it felt like, okay, I'm back. And I was,
sugar.
Yeah, sugar. It was looking all different. But, you know, I was like, maybe we're just going back to the future. You know, I don't know. But I'll take that for whatever good possible. What do you got to say, Emma?
Feels like they're splitting consciousness a million different ways, right? It's like how Tyler said, we're really strong when we come together and co-create something as a society. And it feels like they are, whether it's CERN or however they're doing this, they're finding all different ways to divide us. And this is another one. We now have different memories. And so both are real in a sense, but it's not unifying. So we're co-creating all these different realities, and it's keeping us from coming together. And I feel like that's a big part of even these little nuances. Like Curious George, why would you manipulate that, right? But something that simple can still divide people by creating that reality. So it's really interesting.
That is such a great point. Because as long as there's a left and right and an up and down and he said, she said, and all those things, then there will be a split. That's such a good point, is keeping everyone out of that unified field, that alignment with God.
Right.
Yeah.
Could you mute yourself again, Emma? We still have a little.
Sorry, we got a little feedback.
I agree. Like every trigger event, everything that they push, they being the cabal, deep state, whatever you want to call them, it's a separation or division tactic. It's all cancel culture based. And we even see that coming from certain influencers within the community and stuff. You know, you can kind of see like we're just programmed to compete, it seems like. And I don't know, I don't really understand the psychology of it, but there's something within everybody at their core. Like we're growing up in a society that we're immediately thrown into these sports where we're competing and you're always better, you know, and that's programmed within us. So it doesn't surprise me that they can just take advantage of that at any given time by creating these false trigger events and these false flag events that get everybody to emotionally react and get them sucked in. And I know we're not talking about the Mandela effect anymore, but it's just something to think about.
It leads nicely onto it, though. I mean, like, because I've often wondered, like, you know, we think about Looking Glass and the whole time manipulation thing there, or, you know, I'm not, you know, really a master at what Looking Glass is. In fact, we're actually doing a show on that soon, aren't we, Charnel?
Yeah, we are.
And just the fact that they are so interested in time and how to, like Emma said, it's not going from beginning to end. It just is. You know, and I think quite often, you know, I put it on Facebook not that long ago that, you know, you go outside of our solar system, what happens to time? What happens to the way we measure time? What even is it? You know, would we age? What would happen? You know, if we were to go, because these are very real places, what would happen to our bodies? And I think, you know, maybe they're exploring, maybe they're, you know, certainly with the space programs that they have, they are, well, maybe they know more than we realize we think we know, and how it affects us and our bodies, our psychology, our spirituality. It's just something to think about, I think.
Right.
Well, competition is an illusion. I just posted that like a couple days ago, and I think there's room for everybody. And the minute you try to like say there isn't, that's going to cause division as well. But yeah, time seems to be the thing. It's like time is an illusion, competition is an illusion, all of these things, and
separation is an illusion. We're all we're all one. Yeah.
Right.
But just like Craig was saying about these experiments, there's a twin astronauts that have been set out and back, and one of them looks way younger than the other one. The one who's been up there and not here, you could see, and there's, you could see his before and after of like them standing next to each other, how they used to look the same age, but now one of them seems to be like reversed age in a way.
The one who was in space.
I was going to ask which one's which. The one in space is reverse age, got younger.
Yeah.
Right. Well, because you don't have gravity giving you wrinkles.
Yeah, pulling your face down.
Right. It's interesting talking about all these potential timelines that are currently happening right now, and how that is actually how they're accomplishing that. Craig, you were talking about like you think it's a big timeline war or temporal war right now, and it really is, and it's different three-letter agencies trying to push their timeline, their agenda, and we have this across the board, and it's very apparent right now, because that's why none of this, we have all these conflicting narratives and things don't really match up. But at the same time, I think right now the people who channel and get information, it's a very you just have to really be cautious right now, because you might be channeling correct information, but what if it's coming from a different timeline? And we don't even remote viewers, like, how do you know you're remote viewing the proper timeline? That is actually something we need to consider, because when they were actually time traveling physically, they didn't even have control of what timeline they were going to physically using the Tesla's teleporter device. So how do they actually know that they're remote viewing the proper timeline or channeling information about current events from this timeline? And I think people don't actually know. So when they come forward and try and share their version of the truth, it doesn't align with this person and this person, because everyone's tapping into just a slightly skewed timeline where something's happening just a little bit differently.
Yep.
Ultimately, I think, we pull ahead and we thrive and we win victory, but what it's going to look like on the way, it's anyone's guess.
Well, I think that just like in a crime scene, if you get like 10 people who were a witness to a crime scene, they are like, oh, it was a red shirt. The guy had glasses. No, he had blue shirt and no glasses, and his shoes were brown. And he's like, no, this guy had tennis shoes on. I mean, people see different things from different places, and I think that's a great point to bring it up. But since we're on the subject, I mean, if anyone says they know all the answers and everyone else is wrong and the ego gets in there, that's going to be the first and last time I listen to anybody. I appreciate teachers who are humble, who are willing to be wrong, who are willing to fix if they say something incorrectly. I mean, I understand that there's influencers who have false information by accident because someone just told them and they hurry up and got out there and spread the word and didn't even do a fact check, versus someone who is maliciously on purpose giving misinformation or disinformation, whether they're paid or they're just like love conflict and drama. But hands down, if anyone is like, I'm the only one, everyone else sucks, don't listen to this person, or any kind of attack of any kind that's public, you're off my radar. I'm not going to connect. You're not going to be on my show.
They're showing their true colors. Where they're at, they're more, they value it's the ego, like them being right and attacking someone else over just doing the best they can to get the truth out and help, and be a light. It's like they're worried about their ego and them being right and them being put on this pedestal by everyone of this, oh, they have all the answers, or they're this big leader. And they feel like they're threatened by other people that have information that goes against that, and they have to attack them. When I notice that, that's when I'm like, okay, this person, whether some of their info is right or a lot of it could be true, but they're not someone, that's an integrity and that's operating out of pure ego rather than the heart. And that's the opposite of where we're moving into. That's the old energy we're getting out of. That's the old world, So
right.
Exactly.
Exactly. Just stripping the whole celebrity status concept
Absolutely.
and the rank system.
Yeah.
It's all embedded even in our infrastructure. If you look at skyscrapers, they represent the rank system that's pushed upon us. Like the basement, nobody wants to be down there. Then you have the middle class. Then you have the what do you call it? The penthouse or whatever, that only the elites and the rich people can spend time at. So they're creating this their illusion, and it shows up everywhere.
Like the Tower of Babel, right? Like,
right.
Just bring it down.
Yep.
Let everyone have an even keel here.
And the fact that we're building so high into the sky in the first place is anti-life. It goes against, like, we need to be one with the planet, right? And when we're it just doesn't make any sense to build up when we have all of this room, this entire planet, and it's not overpopulated. And I don't know. I don't want to keep going too far off the Mandela Effect topic.
No, I was just thinking then, I think it's really an interesting way to take the conversation, because we're talking about creating a timeline that they're clearly using CERN, and the Mandela Effect is an evidence of what they're doing to try and create timelines and shift timelines. But, we need to deal with these issues because if we want a positive timeline, we're going to have to deal with the ego. We're going to have to deal with the conflict. And, if two people, disagree on an issue, so what? You know what? Just shake hands and go, okay, you could be right. If someone comes to me and says, I'm completely wrong, I think you could well be right. This is where I'm at today. And, and when somebody is calling out other people saying they disagree on my information, don't listen to them. That's not the timeline that we want anymore. That's not the society that we want anymore. So it is an interesting way to take the conversation, to be fair.
Yeah, I agree. Focus on creating the timeline that we want. Yeah.
I don't understand why there has to be any attack at all. Like, why did there have to be any finger pointing or whatever? I mean, there's a lot of things any one of us could say about all kinds of people, what goes on behind the scenes. But why would you take your precious time and your precious platform to use anything to just be negative and cause more division and attack other people? Like, I don't.
Well, what are the fruits of that? Right. It's like, you got to really analyze, like, what good? What good is coming from what you're doing publicly? And if you're attacking people, but a lot of people have this. I've noticed some people have this twisted mentality that they're fighting this good fight by calling out the bullshit, calling out in their mind, the frauds, and but that's just purely their own opinion from their own mind.
Based on how they perceive reality.
Exactly. So, but they're convinced 100% they're right, and they think that it's their job to tell everyone else what is true, what is not, who to follow, who not to follow. But you're already off base if you're doing that. I don't care how right you think you are. I don't care how much you think someone is.
Even if you are right, you're not. If
you are right, you're perfect. Well said. Exactly.
If you're right, you're still wrong for your actions.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because it's a negative energy, and it's like you could be right, but the way you're handling it, the way you're outing someone, the way you're, using your platform to be negative and to cause division. I don't know.
You're feeding into all of that.
Wrong timeline. Yeah,
that's the example you're setting for others too. Now you're going to get other people to start
doing the same.
That's the way to go. Yeah.
And let's just attack people. Let me teach you how without saying words, but just follow what I'm doing of attacking people.
Did I see Emma want to say something?
Yes, go for it, Emma, and then we're going to wrap up. Everyone can have a closing thought, but go for it, Emma.
I was just going to say, it seems like they're conditioning us to shut off our imagination. They're conditioning us to focus just on problems instead of creating the solution in the world that we want. Yes. And to collectively focus on talking about that and building that and connect with like-minded people and to focus on what we could be creating with that energy. They're conditioning us to focus on being stuck in the problem. Mm-hmm. That's how I feel.
That's a great point. And her podcast is called Imagination Podcast, which I was going to talk to her about that. I had mentioned that I would bring that up, but I love that word. I talk about it a lot in my book, Signs and Miracles, because it focuses a lot on imagination or imagery and creating our world through how we image or what we project, and even within our own realm of seeing miracles, the way we project things and then receive them or align to them and then manifest them ultimately. But I'm glad you brought that up, Emma. Love it. Any final words? And I'm going to just remind everybody, please share this, please tag, please get it out there. And two, if you can do any kind of donation to help keep the show going on, we will gladly accept all your support and help, and just glad that you guys hung out with us today. But let's just go around the circle or the squares, or I don't know, it's like Brady Bunch-ish, but and any final words, and then how we can find you. And I guess Carrie isn't going to be with us after all, but we miss you, Carrie, and we'll get you next time. But go ahead and go around any final words and where we can find you.
I guess I'll start. Yeah, as far going back to what you said about why do people do this, I wonder, like, what's the drive? What's the purpose? When it comes down to it, I don't think people realize what they're actually doing. When you're in that frequency, it's coming from an unhealed place. So instead of addressing the issue within yourself, you're pointing your finger and putting the blame on everyone else and creating this division. Because misery loves company, right? So if you're not happy, I think people are subconsciously doing this, and it all comes from just a wounded place, really. So we have to hold space for everybody, and allow space for them to heal, because we don't want to trap everyone in time. And then two, do you remember it? The song that never ends or the song that doesn't end? Which one?
Song that never ends.
Never ends.
Right, that's what I remember. This is the song that never ends. Well, they're trying to say now it was the song that doesn't end.
Oh, what?
Yeah. I don't remember.
I used to watch that show. That's a kid.
Right.
It's never ends.
Anyway, yeah, Journey to Truth podcast. If you don't already follow us, you can find us on YouTube, Rumble, Apple Podcasts, all the audio platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Telegram. Give us a like, follow, subscribe if you feel so inclined. We appreciate all the support.
Yes, awesome. How about Craig?
A final thought. I mean, it's really. I guess I do get a bit wound up sometimes when things are going on that are frustratingly, blatantly not good. And it's hard to. I don't want to say not focus on it, but to acknowledge it. Like, for example, just this week. So we've had a governmental collapse in the UK. Prime Minister Boris Johnson has quit. Everything's an upheaval. Guess who turns up in a plane? Mr. Bill Gates. What is he doing in our country when there's a governmental collapse? You know what I mean? It's just like, back off out of our country, sunshine, you know. Things, you know, they're there and they do test us. But I really appreciate this community who can maintain a high vibration, and we really do need each other to stay friends. We're all in this together. We're here to create this heaven on earth society. We've not come here for no reason. I mean, this really is the greatest time to be alive, as frustrating as it can be at times. So I just love connecting with people that want the best for humanity. And I don't care about your beliefs. If you're sort of looking for the best, we're on the same trajectory. So I'd love to connect with you all, and I love all you guys and everything you bring. Emma, it's great to meet you. Thank you very much for joining us.
Awesome. All right, Aaron.
Yeah, Tyler already said the Journey to Truth stuff. So yeah, you can find us in all those places. But yeah, this was an amazing talk. Thank you so much for having us. You are all lovely, amazing beings, and yeah, I mean, everything that's happening, the Mandela Effect, all the craziness that they're throwing out, it's all happening ultimately for our good and our expansion and for our growth. And it's the only true reality is love and unity, because we're all one.
Yeah.
And anything other than that is an illusion and is not the reality. So, just get in your heart, figure out like what it is that makes you come alive, that is truth focus on that and live from that place, and all the rest is going to naturally fall away, and you're not going to have to worry about trying to figure out the right belief system or the right whatever, and be living in fear of what's going to happen when you realize like this body is not who you are. You're so much greater than that.
Yes.
When you realize fear is an illusion, and that's why they try to trap us in fear, so they can continually feed off of us, and we're not living in our sovereignty, and that's what we got to get back to. So,
amen.
Preach it.
Thank you.
All right, Emma.
I just want to, first of all, thank you for having me on. It's an honor being with you, Dr. Charnel, and meeting all of you fine gentlemen finally. And for people listening, my closing thoughts to you would be understanding that time and space are elastic. I want to encourage you to not accept things for how they are, but for how you want them to be.
Yes.
Focus on the temple inside of you and to connect with that quantum field that connects you to the Holy Spirit that is within you. And the moment that you choose to change what's in you and to focus externally on what you want to change, the things that happen and the things that change within you will start to change the world around you. And if you can encourage other people to do that through your example, then that's how we change the timeline into what we really want it to be, is by changing us and how we respond to all the stimuli. If we hear something that says us, them, we, they, stay away from it. Focus on us. Focus on Him, our holy God and creator, and connect with that instead of those low vibrations. And I believe that if we all use our imaginations co-creatively, that we can create that reality in that timeline that we all desire and want. But we have to first lift ourselves out of this low frequency vibration of being stuck in a problem without ever presenting a solution. So those are my closing words.
Bravo.
Right. It sounds like she's coming from heaven with that echo.
It does.
Deep word.
As well.
It's like
She's already in 5D.
It's like the scene in the movie when they hear a voice like coming from like the spirit realm. That's exactly what it sounds like.
It's angelic Emma coming from another dimension to give us this last word. Yes. Yeah, and I love what you said, because we were just on another live and introducing a guy who does telekinesis, and it was super cool. And yeah, I mean, the whole theme ended up getting back to unity and oneness and being a collective. And so, yeah, for me, I'm agreeing with every one of you. Love is the key. Love is the answer. Love wins. Love is the only truth. Love, who is God or creator or whatever you want to call them, him, her, it, she, they, whatever. If you look it up in Hebrew or Strong's, it doesn't have a gender. So, and that same, it's literally, maybe they're picking up on that and they're just like confused, but God is not confusing. Source is not confusing. And
it does not cause confusion.
Yes, and doesn't cause it either. And so, I just encourage everybody to go in deep and remember love, and to, I'm just going to say it. Love is the only thing, and anything else is a psyop. How about that? If you don't agree, all of you are psyops if you don't agree with love. That. Anyway, also don't forget chocolate sundaes work for Ascension.
Right.
Yes, but go to fire.org and get on the newsletter. You guys definitely subscribe if you're not subscribed. I absolutely adore working with all of you. I'm so having fun doing these few things that we've done together. I hope we do more. And I absolutely love all the people watching. And I'm just so thankful for everybody who supported the show and continues to support the show. And for you guys for sharing space with us today. Thank you for your expertise on the subject and just the funness of everybody getting together. I adore all of you. And thank you for my shirt.
Yeah, I'm glad you like it. I'm glad
it's so cool. Yeah. It is so soft. And I love it. It's awesome.
That Activate DNA thing is everywhere for me at the minute.
Right.
I need one of those.
They're cute. They have them on their website.
On Teespring.
Teespring, you can find a link under our YouTube videos and any of the video descriptions. That's the best way to find that link. And you get 20% off with promo code 20 and back or J2T20.
J2T20, yeah.
Right.
So everyone works. Apparently, sometimes they're not working.
All right, guys. Love all of y'all. Have a good one. Yes. Peace out. We'll do this again soon.
Definitely.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
I love you all.